I heard that people who have not touched Bronwald were able to qualify and get good ranks. My juniors then told me, sir, that my strategy is wrong. I have to change my strategy immediately from standard books I was reading. But MCQ, this clearing entrance is different from earning knowledge. It is different. I realized later, sir. Revising the entire textbook and so many textbooks I had read, everything revising and so much material revision in 1 month, it was not possible. Actually, reading textbooks will not help. I realize, sir. Actually, because the way questions are coming, just blindly reading theory will not help. MCQ based, you have to read based on MCQs and the way they are asking, and concepts are more important, not just facts. Marrow has become universal way of preparation. I found out now that even from MBBS, right from MBBS.
So welcome guys, welcome. Our NEET SS results are out and we have with us yet another topper session. We have Dr. Shaik Imran from Hyderabad. So he secured 300 marks out of 400 in the present NEET SS exams, and he scored a top 5 rank in the country. So first, welcome Dr. Imran and congrats. Yeah, a bit of introduction. Dr. Imran is from Hyderabad. He's done his MBBS from Osmania Medical College. He is 2011 batch, and he's done his MD from the prestigious JIPMA. He's from 2017 batch. So welcome Imran, welcome to the show. My first question is, how do you feel?
I'm happy and satisfied, sir.
So you have come to know the results. I bet it's a great relief to know that you're out of this rat race. So you need not
Yes,
study
sir.
anymore for preparing DM. So why cardio? So you had a lot of subjects. So why cardio? Why did you choose cardio?
Cardiology, I want to save lives, sir. Actually, I felt cardiology is one place where mortality benefit is more, and it is a branch involving emergencies. So I like to handle emergencies, and I want to save more people. And I want one hands-on job, not just theory and like OPD branch. I wanted a cath lab, so I like that actually.
So,
So because I like that, so I took, sir. Because of my passion, I took cardiology.
so basically, you want to do something with your hands. You want to do some immediate procedures to save the life of the patient, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So that's where cardiology comes in. So a patient who is struggling, who is gasping for breath, who's probably going in to go to the ventilator, and you do an angioplasty for him and he recovers. It's a very satisfying feeling that you get, and the results are almost immediate. So a good
Yes, sir.
procedure, the patient's life is immediately saved. So that is one great advantage of cardiology, and it's a very passionate field. You require a certain degree of passion to become a cardiologist. So we are all eager to know. You got such a prestigious rank and around nearly 75% mark in such a tough paper. Now, the paper was really tough when compared to last year. So I just want to pick your brains. How did you study? When did you start your preparation? And what were your sources of preparation?
Initially, I started preparing in the conventional way. What was told, the Bronwald was the base, sir, for my preparation initially. I read the Bronwald, all the chapters from history and examination to the last chapters. I read
So
all the
cover to
chapters
cover.
cover to cover, sir. All the chapters I read. Griffin manual also I read. Hurst also, where areas where which are important I read from Hurst. Congenital heart disease from Satpathy. Then recent guidelines all 2020 I took printout and I read those. Then again I read for hemodynamics questions will come, so I read from again separate book, Hana book. So I was reading like this, sir. Everything. From standard books I was reading. But MCQ, this clearing entrance is different from earning knowledge. It is different. I realized later, sir. After the initiate, I realized that it is different. I had to focus on some areas and I had to revise them again and again. And there are certain areas where examiners are fond of asking questions from, and those areas I was not thorough in that area, sir. I realized that yeah, till initiate I was preparing like this from standard books, but after when I did not qualify for initiate, so I thought I'm making mistake in strategy. So then I came to know about Marrow at that time, but I was still skeptic whether in the last 1 month should I stay, try new things. But still, I took risk, and I then immediately the next day after the NEET result, I started watching Marrow videos
So,
in the
so
last.
what was your rank in the INSS
Initially,
exams?
rank was not there, sir. Marks were 34, sir.
So 34 out of 80. So you probably did
Uh,
not qualify, right? Okay, so
exactly.
then you felt probably what you were doing was something wrong, strategically wrong, and it required a change in strategy. So
Yes, sir.
what prompted you to, from where did you get to know about Marrow? What prompted you to change your strategy towards Marrow?
Actually, solving MCQ is different. MCQ world and this entrance is different, I thought. So, and my juniors then who were very new. I heard that people who have not touched Bronwald were able to qualify and get good ranks. My juniors then told me, sir, that my strategy is wrong. I have to change my strategy immediately. So, I did not want to take chance for NEET. So, immediately I started watching videos for cardiology, sir, daily.
Yeah. So when did you start your preparation?
Proper preparation I started this year, February, sir, 2021 February.
February. So you were able to read Bronwald cover to cover. So can I ask how many times were you able to read Bronwald?
At least 5 6 times, sir. At least more than that, but
So
at least.
at least 5 to 6 times. So you can see that Dr. Imran has an extensive body of preparation. So he's read Bronwald, he's read Griffin, and he's even read some textbooks I've not heard. Like I've not heard about the hemodynamics textbook as well as the congenital heart disease textbook, which I've quoted. So you can see it's an extensive body of preparation. And in spite of reading Bronwald, he read right from history right to the last chapter. He was not able to score, was not able to qualify for the INISS. So he felt that he's prepared for around 9 to 10 months, and he felt that there was something wrong in his preparation, something strategically wrong that was, in spite of reading so much material, he was not able to qualify or get 50 percentile mark. That's what he felt. He required a strategic change. So one smart thing he did was he asked his juniors, people who qualified, and they suggested Marrow. So around, I think the result would have come around December 10th or 11th. So you would have just had around maybe around 20 to 25 days to study, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So
So
how much were you able to cover? Because 20-25 days is a fairly short time. So how much were you able to cover up the videos?
60 videos, around 60 or 62, sir. I
62
have
videos.
covered.
So from the total amount 80 videos, you were able to cover around 62 videos. So
Yes, sir.
you're prepared in two different ways. So you're prepared one way, the conventional way, where you stick to a standard textbook, you revise that standard textbook again and again, and you found that the results were not that good. And then you
Yes,
came
sir.
here where you studied, where you would have put in around 60 hours of effort, and you found that your percentile rose from say 34%, you have come all the way to something like 75%. So you had a 40% jump in your mark. And remember,
Yes,
this was
sir.
a much more difficult paper than your INISS.
Yes, sir.
So how did you feel that Marrow benefited you?
Yes, sir. Actually, the areas where I had to concentrate in that 1 month was very crucial month, and I had to revise properly. And revising the entire textbook and so many textbooks I had read, everything revising and so much material revision in 1 month, it was not possible. So I whatever videos I watched, I made notes, and those were very important areas where questions had to come, and I made notes and revised them. I practiced MCQs again, went back through the notes, and if required, I went back to the videos. All the important areas I tried to cover, sir. So where the areas which are difficult questions come usually, and where we tend to make mistake, those areas you have explained well, sir, in that, and the echo videos, and especially that pericardium chapter, differentiation, and all those chapters are well covered, sir, where actually more examiners ask questions from there, and even the previous MCQs section also, all the important questions, some repeats are also there, sir, in that. Actually few repeats were there.
Exactly.
A few repeats were there actually from there, and those were difficult questions, sir. Those were the rank deciding questions, I believe.
Rank determining
So,
questions. There's no point in answering questions which everyone answers. Those don't
yes,
determine the ranks. You need to have an extra edge. You need to have these questions are pretty much conceptual. You need to have a deep understanding of the subject. So what you can see is, see, there are, we have discussed with the INSS toppers. So most of them, what they did was they just used the Marrow videos as their primary base of study, and they scored very good ranks, and they were able to get into prestigious institutes. Here we have a different approach. Dr. Imran had a very solid base of knowledge. He had a very solid method of preparation. He had read all your standard textbooks and revised them. What Marrow added here was the extra spark. It was the catalyst which triggered in him a substantial change in percentile. So from 34%, from pretty much around 40%, he went all the way right up to 75%. That too within a span of 1 month. So here, instead of Marrow being the primary base of preparation, here it was that spark. It was the extra edge which propelled him all the way to a top 5 rank in the country. So, Imran, I would like to ask a few things. So,
yes,
if
sir.
you were able to rewind the clock, or let's say you are advising a junior, okay, who is say preparing again, you know that the NEET SS pattern is probably going to change. So, let's take this almost a pretty much similar pattern as for INISS. So, if you are advising a junior for the who's preparing for the next INISS, what would you advise them? So, what mistakes would you ask them to avoid making? What would your advice be to them?
Actually, reading textbooks will not help. I realize, sir. Actually, for because the way questions are coming, just blindly reading theory will not help. MCQ based, you have to read based on MCQs and the way they are asking, and concepts are more important, not just facts. Concepts you have to learn, and you have to understand concepts from a teacher who knows actually, because there are many things which by just by reading ourselves we will not be able to understand. One only one who has practiced those things will be able to understand where actually we make mistake and where we don't understand some things. So I would recommend them to learn from a teacher actually. The what is the concepts base, most important concepts, and the perspective of an expert is different. What will be added is the perspective of an expert. We
It's a
cannot read
very,
by just by reading, we cannot gain that actually.
it is a very relevant point what you said. See, I'll tell you my experience. So, people, when you enter like MD medicine, they say that you have to finish reading Harrison. That is the Bible. You have to finish reading Harrison cover to cover. When you enter into DM, they say you have to finish reading Bronwald cover to cover. You know, there's a textbook based approach to learning. Remember, these are Bronwald is a very standard textbook. It's a very prestigious textbook. But remember, it is a textbook which is meant to be read by people who are practicing cardiology or who are learning cardiology. It is not meant for postgraduates in MD medicine or pediatrics to read. It is a far higher level for them. That is where a video-based lecture like us comes in. So we can simplify concepts and we can present them to you in a way that you can retain it better, and it's probably a bit more enjoyable for you to learn. And we can focus on particular areas. See, Bronwald is written from Bronwald's perspective. It is not meant for preparation for NEET SS. It is meant to really learn cardiology, the subject as such. But what we can do is we can change the entire perspective, bring in the NEET perspective, and teach you according to the what is required, and in that particular amount of what is required. So that is a very valuable method of learning, in my opinion. So, so how did you like the videos? So there are around 80 videos. So I've seen around 60 to 62. So how did you like these videos? So do you like the
Actually,
videos?
I really appreciate, sir, the so much pains you have taken. The even every slide was filled with so much of knowledge, and you took lot of pains to give the images also. Rare. Actually, those echo images and echo videos also were there. Those were very good, sir. And the important areas where it is tough to understand, just like that circumferential. One question was asked based on circumferential longitudinal fibers. How that you made it simple through the video, sir. Actually, those means you have that, and it showed your passion for cardiology. Actually, so much nicely you have explained endocarditis, infective endocarditis. Even though all these things I had read many times, sir. I had read many times, but still, when I heard from you, then I understood that it is different. Actually, what? Uh,
Cardiology is a very visual subject. Okay, it's so reading from a textbook. So Bronwald gives a lot of images, but they are static images. You might get a CD, but let's be fair, who's going to see that CD? So, bro, it's a very visual subject. You have ECGs, you have echoes, you have MRIs, you have a lot of moving pictures. You can learn a lot from these images. So, since it's a very visual subject, you need to learn it in a very visual manner also. That's why when you read textbooks, you often find definite lacunae. You find your knowledge is not that good if you read a textbook because it's primarily a visual subject. So, would you agree with that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I agree, sir.
So, so how was it? So you have finished seeing those videos. Suppose you have seen a particular video, say some videos on pericardium, constrictive pericarditis. Were you able to recollect things from the videos later? Because see, you can read a textbook a lot of times, but if you're not able to recall, it doesn't matter. So, were the videos presented to you in such a way that you could recall it later on?
Yes, sir. I was able to recall, sir. I was able to recall. Even during when I was solving some questions in the exam, also I was able to recall.
Very cool. So again, see, you can take a particular chapter. So, for example, if you can take a particular pulmonary embolism, you can teach for half an hour, you can teach for even 6 to 7 hours. So again, there should be taught in a specified quantity of time. It should not be too long, it should not be too short. So how did you feel about the length of the videos? Were they easy for you to cover? Were they appropriately structured and the content was good? Was
Yes,
it
sir.
too
It was
long?
time was perfect, sir. Actually, that one mostly 45 minutes to 1 hour. But in that so much where what we need was there, sir. Actually, not lengthy and
Exactly.
no what we
So
need
there was
actually.
So see, it's very easy to take a particular topic. For example, let's say pulmonary embolism for 4 or 5 hours and tell you that, okay, I've taught you everything. But that is not the right way to teach. The content should be concise as well as precise. The student should be able to see. So if he's able to see and say that, okay, the pulmonary embolism is something like 1 hour to 1.5 hours, this is a time where the student can spend and learn that topic. If the topic is too vast, it becomes pointless to relearn. So you need not only content is important, but it should be structured in such a way that is concise and precise. So time management is also important. So so most of the INISS as well as the NEET, I've noticed a particular paradigm shift. They're asking very much on conceptual questions. For example, there was a question on Al-Kappa and which associated defect would decrease the severity of Al-Kappa. No textbook gives you that. So they're
Yes, sir.
focusing mainly on conceptual questions. It's not one word answers which are directly you can take from the textbook. For example, in this NEET exam, there were huge questions. There were large, long stem questions. So time management is also very important. So you can see that concept is key. So you should be able to increase your conceptual knowledge. You should be able to strengthen your foundation. This is very important. So merely mugging up a textbook or merely mugging up notes is not important. You should have a foundation, you should have conceptual knowledge, and that will stand you in the long run. What is your opinion on that, Dr. Imran?
Yes, sir.
Would you say that concepts are king?
Yes, sir. Questions are very long, and like previous year's questions, just like one-liners are not asked, sir. We have to read that question and understand what he wants, and again, differentiating between the options also is very difficult. Again, if we understand only, we can answer those things. Uh, just the fact-based
Exactly.
questions are not coming, sir. Now, just
That
see
was
where
the
we
problem.
need.
So that was the
Like,
problem. So when you were reading Bronwald so many times, see, I'm telling this openly in a platform. I have read Bronwald once, and that too only after finishing my DM. So when you read Bronwald, the problem was you were not able to understand the book properly. That is the problem. I told you it's a book which is meant for people who have finished their DM or learning to become cardiologists. So it's a book at that level. It's not a book for an MD level. So conceptual knowledge was lacking, and that is why probably you had a difficulty in the INSS exams. So when you brought in your concepts with Marrow's help or with your own efforts, you were able to score far better. That's what I think about what has happened to you. So
yes, sir.
would we agree with that?
Yes, sir. I agree, sir. I agree, sir.
Okay.
Definitely.
So what you've seen the Marrow videos, you've seen most of the Marrow videos. So how do you feel it's clinically relevant? How is it relevant at the bedside of the patient? So how does it help you practice medicine as such?
It helps practice, sir. The guidelines which are in practice, like STEMI guidelines, you have explained well. Even I had read before STEMI guidelines, but after reading, the way you explained, I was able to understand how it is really practiced. In practice, the way when the timer is on after endocarditis, for example, treatment is there. When should you start after the starting of antibiotics? When should you count the time after the first culture negative?
Exactly.
Like these things, many things will practical things were clear, sir, after listening, because these are not given in books also, sir, actually. uh,
Exactly. So we focused on important areas. That's what you're highlighting, right?
yes, sir.
So Imran, one thing I would like to know is, suppose you have juniors, suppose they are first year PGs, they are second year PGs, or they are third year PGs. How will you advise them? So if, let's say, a first year PG comes and asks you, like, how do you prepare for entrance exams? How will you advise them?
uh, I would advise them, actually, I did not prepare from first year, but actually, Marrow is very good, sir. For I came to know very, very late, actually. Even my juniors, everyone knows about Marrow. Probably, I am the last person to know about Marrow, unfortunately. But Marrow has become universal way of preparation. I found out now that even from MBBS, right from MBBS, the medicine part, especially Rakesh sir videos and the concept sir is explaining was very good. When I watched, I was first time I came to know, sir, such. Uh, I actually even Harrison, like that, like Bronwald, I had read Harrison also many times. But when I watched sir's videos, it was totally different again. I felt that I regretted a lot that I had made a blunder actually in the last moment. Uh,
So where do you plan to do your DM? Or you can pick any institute in the country. So where do you plan to do your DM right now?
as of now, I mostly I am planning to take in Nizam Institute, sir. It is near my home, so in,
Exactly. So one thing I would like to tell all the students, especially those who have scored ranks and are planning to take colleges, see, it's all nice to take in the probably the best institute you get in the country, but there are certain practical advantages to studying in a college that's near your home, especially if the college is as prestigious as Nizam's. So if you have a very good college near your home, I would suggest that you take that college because there are certain practical advantages. One, it's near your house. Probably all of you guys are married, you have kids, so family is also very important. So your financial status would also improve. You won't spend much money as you go and study in some other state. Number two is that you get to know the place and everyone gets to know you, so you will be in that cardiology fraternity. So if there is any, you have any problems, you can call for help, you can refer patients to others. And three, you get a lot of CMEs, you get to take part in a lot of CMEs. And when you finally pass out, okay, it's far easier to get a job. So for example, so I studied in Trivandrum Medical College. My house is also in Trivandrum. So because I studied in Trivandrum Medical College, I could get a job far easier than if I studied somewhere else. So remember, these are practical points. So again, studying in the most prestigious institute of the country is really good. But again, there are advantages to studying at a place where you intend to practice. This is what I would like you to know. So keep that also in mind before you choose a particular college. So Imran, I would like to conclude by again congratulating you once more. So again, you have now become part of the cardiology fraternity. So again, it's a relatively small community when compared to all the other specialties. So we'll often meet in conferences, especially national conferences all over India. So once the COVID pandemic settles down, we'll have this opportunity to interact face to face. So all the best, Imran. So I hope you have a fabulous career. You achieve all the heights possible in this profession. Do keep in touch, and I'll also ensure that Marrow team also keeps in touch with you. So we all want to have our old students, like you have an alumni in college, we would also like to have an old alumni in Marrow also. So with that, thank you, Imran. Thank you for spending your precious time with us.
thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.